act submissions. Students on government sponsorship ready to pursue their studies in Russia. Midlands West Zambia Conference contemplating on realigning large districts in the conference. Plus, coming up much later is This Week in Adventist History. I'll be back with the details after this. What is coronavirus disease?
Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is a respiratory disease which can infect anyone and can lead to death.
How does it spread?
It spreads by being in close contact to an infected person, being close to a person who has been exposed to a coronavirus-infected person, or touching surfaces or objects that are contaminated with the coronavirus.
What are the symptoms?
Fever, cough, difficulty in breathing or shortness of breath, body ache or headache.
How can one prevent contracting the coronavirus?
Wash your hands regularly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds or use hand sanitizer. Avoid physical contact with other people by keeping a safe distance of at least 1 meter. Cook meat, eggs, and other animal products thoroughly before eating. Cover your nose and mouth with flexed elbow or tissue when coughing or sneezing, and throw the tissue in a bin. Avoid handshakes, hugging, and kissing to reduce the chances of getting exposed to the coronavirus. Avoid unprotected contact with live farm animals. Stay at home and avoid unnecessary traveling, whether you have the symptoms or not.
If you have a fever, cough, sore throat, headache, or difficulty in breathing, call 909 or 0974 493553 or 0964 638726 and 0953 898941 for assistance today.
This message is brought to you by the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, ADRA, in partnership with the Ministry of Health.
We appreciate your company with the news in detail. I'm Bright Sinkozi, and on sign language, we have George Kalimukwa. The details. At the height of reports of sodomy in the country, the now famous Dr. Brian Cho Tasampa abandoned the ban alcohol campaign and embarked on a peaceful march to State House, seeking President Hakainde Hichilema's attention to immediately arrest those propagating gay rights in the country. The walk was, however, short-lived as police intercepted the protesting team few kilometers away from State House along Independence Avenue. Upon stopping the protesters, police requested the protesting audience to produce a permit, but only a document from the council was availed, alleging that the police command has not responded to the notification which was sent 7 days ago. This then led to the police asking the protesting team to accompany them to police station in a police vehicle, and later were arrested at Kawata police station. By broadcasting time, all the 5 journalists were released from police.
Owing to a rise in homosexuality-related cases in the country, Dr. Sampa led a team of youths who undertook a march to State House against homosexuality. According to Mr. Sampa, the major reason for the march was to seek clarity from the head of state on homosexuality. He said his wish was to see the head of state issue out a strong warning against the act, the same way he has been aggressive towards corruption and cadarism.
So for us, we want to be heard by the head of state, because we do understand that the head of state is going to send a strong warning, the same way he has taken a strong stance against corruption and the cadres. So we want the same thing. So we want abolish homosexuality.
But before the team could make it to State House, they were met with men and women in uniform who requested for a permit, but the permits could not be produced.
So we've noted with concern that despite the law being clear that it's illegal in Zambia, people are easily parading themselves as homosexuals. We even have pages of gay people, they are even advertising,
but do you have
and every day. So we wrote last week, we informed the police.
My question first is, do you have a permit?
Yes, we actually, so what we did was we paid at the council. The police advised us first.
You are not answering my question.
Yes, we have.
What is the permit?
Yes. So this is the council one, and then for the letter,
Just wait.
yeah.
No, excuse me. I mean, you have a permit from the police.
So the police, we gave them the letter, but we just have a copy of the letter.
You gave who the letter?
The commanding officer.
Did he approve it?
There was no approval, it was a notice.
So if there was no approval, then what you are doing is...
But the law is clear that you're just supposed to give a notice, and then the police
It's a
can
notice.
tell us.
It's a notice.
Within 7 days, we did notice the police.
Then you wait for the approval.
No, but it's already more than 7 days. It has passed 7 days.
You wait for the approval. If that thing was approved, then you would have been on the road.
No, but
but
if
it was not approved.
But if it
so
was
what
not
you are doing, listen, what
Yes.
you are doing is illegal.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do this.
Okay, so when you look at the law, please, let's be straight
Let
here.
me just finish. If you want, with whatever you are doing,
Yes.
the best that you can do, go to Ministry of Gender. It is not approved by the police. You wrote to the commanding officer. Did the commanding officer
Okay, so
approve this?
We notified not to get an approval. If there was anything that the police felt was not okay, you were supposed to tell us that no, you can't go on this day because there will be this thing happening. So we didn't receive any feedback, and we notified already. We even paid at the council. So that's what the law requires. If at all the police saw that there is something wrong, we are not supposed to march because of any reason, they would have told us. Not to bring a letter, and then the police are refusing to even just acknowledge the receipt of a letter. It is very wrong. It shouldn't happen. I'm sure none of you would be happy to be involved in homosexuality or their child to be involved in homosexuality. We are supposed to hold hands and work together as a team to fight this.
The police then apprehended the team alongside 5 journalists and took them to Kabwata police station for conducting an illegal march past.
Excuse me, officers, let them, let's go. Let's go.
Daniel Chilema, reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security Permanent Secretary Joseph Akafumba has disclosed that the review process of the Public Order Act, POA, has suggestively progressed with a desk review report being completed and drafting of the bill equally advancing. Speaking during the National Validation Meeting for the review of the Public Order Act at Mulungushi International Conference Center yesterday, Mr. Akafumba said the process, which began in August this year, will ensure that Zambians are given a document that will help address the Public Order Act disorders. Zambia Law Development Commission Director Hope Chanda said the purpose of the validation meeting, which ends today, is for stakeholders to look at the recommendations that will be included in the Public Order Act. And some stakeholders drawn from political parties and civil society organizations have applauded government for moving in the right direction to address the POA, which has been oppressive since independence. Esnat Sikazwe has more in the following report.
Over 200 delegates have turned up to attend the National Stakeholders Validation Meeting on the review of the Public Order Act organized by the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security and Zambia Law Development Commission at Mulungushi International Conference Center in Lusaka. This meeting is the final gathering that delegates have to confirm their submissions. Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security Permanent Secretary Joseph Akafumba officiated the event. Mr. Akafumba said the submission of the Public Order Act by stakeholders is progressing well.
Those submissions and inputs which you have been giving to the drafting team has helped a great deal to deal in ensuring that a good draft bill is developed.
We will be presenting to participants this morning the final resolutions from the National Stakeholder Consultative Meeting that we all participated in, and also the recommendations that came out of the roundtable discussions with the judiciary, the Law Association of Zambia, and members of the security wings.
And some delegates expressed joy that they are part of this event.
We came again to relook at those submissions that we had made. In the event that we had, other new things that we wanted to bring on board in terms of enhancing our democratic credentials, we did bring them. And now we are at the validation stage. And this validation is basically to say, yes, this is what we want as a people, or no, this is not correct. And it's a very important process because, like I said, stakeholders are involved.
Political meeting, there was some hate speech, some wearing of military fatigue, so to speak. But I think we came and discussed that thing so that it can be removed. So we think that military fatigue will not be there. We also think that there will not be hate speech, so to speak, because it was disadvantaging the Zambians, and also it was not making us as Zambians or as political parties to objectively discuss or objectively minister, regarding our needs.
Lack of manpower, when they are going to arrest President HH there was too much manpower. They're going to arrest one person, but the whole manpower went to President HH. When they're arresting President Michael Sata, there was too much manpower. So why should police only have manpower when it does not affect the government in power? So manpower is there. We have enough police to police one or two incidents. We have Zambia Police Copperbelt, Zambia Police, all provinces. And the excuse of lack of manpower cannot be excused. It is very simple. When you are going to arrest a poor person, maybe they'll go with manpower. When they're going to arrest a rich person, it's different. What we want is there's nothing like lack of manpower. Some of the people who live in the compounds, to get the police officers, they will say, Tiribe fuel. You give them fuel when you are being killed. So the issue of lack of manpower, I'm appealing to Bakafumba, is in this meeting. I'm appealing to him to ensure that the issue of manpower in the new Dawn government should come to an end. There should not be manpower when its government wants to arrest a person.
Today, 16th of September 2022, business will come to an end for the validation meeting. Esnatsikas with Hope News, Lusaka.
In other news, Fisheries and Livestock Minister Makozo Chikote says his ministry is key to economic transformation because of the part it plays in job creation, income generation, and food nutrition security. Honorable Chikote says over 1 million people in Zambia earn their income directly as fishers and fish farmers, or indirectly as traders, processors, and providers of other fishery-related services. He says government is alive to the fact that the subsector faces numerous challenges, which include low availability of quality fingerlings, inadequate extension services, adverse environmental effects, and low availability of good quality and affordable feed. He has since called for high-level participation and diversity of stakeholders in order to address the challenges facing the fisheries and aquaculture sector. He said this when he officially launched the Indaba on Fisheries and Aquaculture in Lusaka yesterday, whose theme was Development for Economic Prosperity in Zambia.
The potential for growth of the fisheries and aquaculture subsector is immense for the country. This is the strategic subsector because of its importance to the economy in as far as contribution to the employment, income generation, food, and nutrition security are concerned. Government is fully aware of the encumbrances that the subsector is facing. These include low availability of quality fingerlings.
The Russian Federation, in conjunction with the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board, HELSB, yesterday, 15th September 2022, successfully conducted an orientation program to prepare students at the verge of pursuing studies in Russia this year. The Russian government has been awarding these scholarships since 1969 and this has since strengthened bilateral ties between Zambia and that country. The purpose of the orientation was to guide students to strictly abide to the country's laws and exercise good morals while out in Russia for studies. This year, a total of 140 students have been fully sponsored by the Zambian government and Russia, while 40 students have been granted partial scholarship by the Russian Center in Zambia.
From the Zambian embassy from Moscow, Russia. Usually when we are selecting the students to go and study in the Russian Federation, annually we receive about 138 to 140 scholarships from the Russian government. Before they travel to study in the various cities in the Russian Federation, we orient these students. The purpose of orienting these students is that we need to prepare them, the expectations that they should find in Russia, the do's and the don'ts, the norms and the morals that the Russian government expects them to behave in a certain manner. To the government of the Republic of Zambia, it is very helpful when we prepare them in this manner because we face less challenges from these students. Because this is as they travel, it will be their first time to be in a foreign country. We also orient them not to involve themselves in politics. They should be non-partisan. The number of the students that are going this year, 2022 to 2023 academic year, 120 on government scholarship, both from the Russian government and from the Zambian government.
You are watching the news on Hope Channel Zambia. Still to come, Midlands West Zambia Conference gear up for evangelism projects to baptize 20,000 souls and zest calls on youths to think job creation than employment. We'll be back after this.
Are you a student studying journalism, mass communication or video production and looking for a place to do your internship? Well, Hope Channel Zambia in Kitwe is inviting you to send in your application for internship. As a student, you will be acquainted with hands-on work such as news anchoring, scripting, camera handling and TV production. That's right. Send your application and recommendation letters from your institution or college to email tjmkwambwa@gmail.com. For more details, you can call the number 0977 120891. Grab this opportunity and be part of the vibrant team. Hope Channel Zambia, a channel that changes lives.
Thank you so much for still staying with us, and now for the rest of the news. A youth-led non-governmental organization, the Zambian Empowerment Hub for Entrepreneurship and Skills Training, ZHEST, has called on young people in the country to seriously consider taking up the responsibility of creating jobs through entrepreneurship as opposed to seeking employment from government, which is already overwhelmed. Organization Executive Director Clarence Muziamba says one of the major challenges youths in the country are grappling with is poverty, which his organization is addressing through skills training opportunities in various communities across the country. Mr. Muziamba says his organization is looking forward to a time when young people in the country will be self-reliant, adding that begging is a humiliating act which young people should strive to avoid at all costs. He has called on youths in the church and community to support government's commitment, which has been shown through various empowerment initiatives by accessing the funds and create jobs through innovations. He was speaking in an interview with Hope News in Lusaka.
Major challenges young people are facing in our country is poverty and unemployment. As an organization, we are on top of things, and we thank the new Dawn administration for putting entrepreneurship at the center of economic growth. We at Zest, we want people to be self-reliant. There's nothing that is so humiliating as begging. And as God's children, we're supposed to be heads and not tails. Entrepreneurship is key to national economic growth. We want to encourage our fellow youths out there to be innovative and creative, to be able to create their own jobs. We know that government cannot employ each and every person. Therefore, we are calling for skills development and training to ensure that each and every person has a skill, a life survival skill. Government is overwhelmed right now with many people who are looking for jobs. But the truth is that government cannot employ all of us. Therefore, as a church and also as the communities and as countrymen and women, we need to support government efforts. We know that there are these empowerment funds which are all over, and what we need to do as young people is to ensure that we do skills. We perfect our proposal writing skills so that we write and be able to get these empowerment funds so that we go out and implement projects. One of the things that we need to know is that young people are leaders of today and tomorrow.
Now we turn our focus to religious matters. Midlands West Zambia Conference is expected in the shortest possible time to realign some of its large districts. Conference President Pastor Gabriel Mulambwa has told Hope News that some of the districts like Chiyuni have as many as 81 congregations, while other districts follow with more than 30 congregations to one pastor. Pastor Mulambwa was reacting to recent calls by some church members in Chiyuni Mission District who are calling for the realignment of the district due to its vastness. The district has 81 congregations which are far apart, creating a challenge when holding meetings coupled with poor network and distance. District Pastor Bruce Simulilo says it is difficult to visit individual churches all year round. As a result, some people do not even know him. We have more in this report by Mebo Chitimbiti.
Less than a fortnight ago, when Lusango University graduated pastors, Midlands West Zambia Conference continues to grapple with the vastness of districts, mostly in Central Province. Some church members see their district pastor every Saturday. Unfortunately, it is a different story for some districts like Kembe, with 82 congregations, Chiyuni 81, Shimukuni 65 congregations against one pastor. Some church members have never seen their district pastor in their aforementioned due to the vastness of the districts. A church member during a telephone interview said that after the retirement of Pastor Sibanda in November 2021, the district has been neglected by the conference leadership after promising them of a new pastor. Mbani wa mwisho mehede
na president Mulambwa. So avole ahiuswaye na churches amwe. Komuti the surrounding churches ali munsi bali mu zone eyo balabungana ntomwe.
Okay.
Babungana ntomwe nkobuti najiwa ndo utakwena uti kuti waswa yabaro waswa amachikiza ayo niza nango teni nango tini ozwa bara tini waswaya kuri zone D chaina buswaigwa bata the rest zones Remember, very deputy, they maybe or my district or video or country. Manga my distance to have a distance. Mule Yaguti, when me left the church, remember district, Mujikebu, Arina, Gawen, and Kule, Kusai, Usambayo, Ikebu, Usai, Umumba.
Midlands Zambia Conference President Pastor Gabriel Mulambwa said he is aware of the vastness of these districts and disclosed that the leadership is working on dividing the districts.
We have quite a number of districts that are vast in terms of territory, membership, and the ratio of churches to the district pastor. I mean, 82 congregations against one pastor, that is in Kembe, 81 congregations against one pastor in Ichiuni, about 65 congregations against one pastor in Shimukuni. That is quite vast. But also you must look at where the church is coming from. These three districts combined together were at one point in the church's history under one pastor. The vastness is quite off, and as a conference, we are working towards subdividing. There are challenges, of course, when it comes to that, and those are institutional or organizational challenges with regard to maintaining a workforce against the resources, the financial resources that we have to remunerate our pastors in a way that they are not under-remunerated. So we have to balance that. We have to balance the wage bill and against the workforce. So our realignment of districts is strategic to that balance. We definitely must be working towards that. Pastors to see how this can be realigned. 2 or 3 years, we must be seeing the birth of 2 or 3 more districts. So definitely it is the pressure of the conference to realign this district. Members are also having the same pressure because to see their pastor takes some of them more than a year, except maybe at the camp meeting or at a communal gathering. But to see their pastor in that church has also this adverse effect.
Due to vastness of the districts, district pastors find it challenging to effectively deliver. Mebo Chitimbiti, reporting for Hope News in Central Province.
While we are still in Midlands West, the conference has projected to baptize at least 20,000 souls in the forthcoming October harvest, which is the initiative of the Northern Zambia Union Conference. The crusades, which will run from 16th to 29th October 2022, are expected to be conducted by every church and company in the conference. Conference President Pastor Gabriel Mulambwa has called on members in the conference to blow the gospel trumpet collectively. Meanwhile, Pastor Mulambwa says the conference will be between 9th and 15th October 2022 as a pre-campaign for the October harvest, conduct what they are calling Benevolence Week, which basically calls on all church departments to hold community services.
The next big event in Midlands West Zambia Conference is the October Harvest. It's a union-wide strategy on evangelism and public campaigns, where we are saying every church and every company in our conference, also in our union, must conduct a crusade, a campaign, whether that crusade will be indoor, whether that crusade will be outdoor. But that will be the next major event that will be happening in our conference. It will be a major hive of activity. There will be a lot of preaching and a lot of sharing the gospel from the 16th of October to 29th of October in our territory. Every church will be expected to be preaching, and we expect to baptize close to 20,000. That is our goal. But prior to the crusades that will be happening in our conference, we also have as a conference what we dub as the Benevolence Week. This will run just the week before 9th to 15th October. In this week, we will be doing and heightening our community services activities as congregations and districts. In this week, we'll be giving out the things that we have been mobilizing in terms of help and assistance to our needy identified persons in the community. And in this week, our dockers, our armor, and our youth will be clad in their uniforms to display our visibility as a church in the community as we do this service. So these two are going to be the next major events and activities that will be very visible to almost every passerby. And we pray and are calling upon all our church members in the union, but also especially in our conference, that they should get involved. Jesus is coming soon, and we must trumpet this gospel to our community and to everywhere that Jesus is coming again. And let the choirs be involved, let the youths and the dockers, let the members in general be involved.
Well, that brings us to the history segment as we take a look at this week in Adventist history.
This week in Adventist history, we look back to the turbulent 1960s. However, the turbulence we have in mind would be what one experiences while flying. James J. Atkin, then president of the South American Division, earned his pilot's license on September 12, 1960. Soon thereafter, several missionaries utilized airplanes to hasten their work, especially in the South and Central American divisions. Further back in the early 40s, some missionaries had acquired old surplus planes from the wars, but there was no controls or policy by the church to govern this activity, and so it didn't take off then. However, in 1958, James Atkin, long an aviation enthusiast, was elected to the presidency of the South American Division. And the first trip that he took around the field convinced him that the use of the light plane would be the only method by which nearly 2/3 of the division could be reached. Atkin suggested that the General Conference set up an aviation policy with control of planes and pilots so that they could be operated sensibly and safely in areas where they were so desperately needed. In the meantime, he enrolled in the local Uruguayan pilot school and learned to fly light planes. While the General Conference deliberated, he set in motion the machinery necessary for the development of an aviation policy in the mission field. He was encouraged by many interested persons in the United States who sent money for his project with the stipulation that it was to be used for aviation or to be returned to sender. The General Conference officially approved and voted a policy in October 1960 with the notable assistance of such men as W.R. Beach, M.V. Campbell, Norman Dunn, and others. That is this week in Adventist history.
Well, thanks a lot, Mike Yonka, for that history. And we now take another look at stories that made headlines just before we go. Police arrest Dr. Sampa and others for protesting against homosexuality without police permit. The Zambia Law Development Commission leads stakeholders in validating Public Order Act submissions. Students on government sponsorship ready to pursue studies in Russia, and Midlands West Zambia Conference contemplating on realigning some large districts in the conference. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Bright Sinkoze, and on sign language we had George Kalimukwa. Until next time, God bless and thanks for your time. Bye for now.
This is Banda, a hardworking man, husband and a father. He doesn't seem to be patient and can't wait to knock off. Wait a minute. Oh yes, it looks like he's rushing home to watch his favorite show on TV. But then, he's running late. What does he do? Hold on, Banda. Did you know that you can still watch your favorite shows from anywhere, anytime? Yes! Just download the StarTime's own app from Google Play or Apple Store, then register. You can link your DTT or DTH decoder to up to 3 devices by entering your smart card number and the last 6 digits of your decoder serial number. Then voila! You're good to go. You can also pay for your subscription, change your preferred bouquet, and other self-services on the app. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Topstar. Enjoy digital life.
Hope Channel Zambia. Hope Channel Zambia.
Hello, I'm Pastor Solomon Maposa from the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division. I would like to encourage you to watch Hope Channel. And as you watch Hope Channel, don't watch it alone. Invite your neighbor, invite your friend from school. Let's all come together and watch Hope Channel, because this is one channel that the Lord is using to reach many people for Jesus Christ. So please come and join us in watching Hope Channel. Bring a friend.
Zambia. Hope Channel Zambia.
Hi, these are the Habakkuk brothers from Copperbelt, Zambia. We encourage you to be watching Hope Channel Zambia each and every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our Father in heaven,
geheiligt werde dein Name.
나라의 임하옵시며
Нехай буде воля Твоя.
Dinhi sa yuta, maingon man sa langit.
Danos hoy nuestro pan.